Loving Sai Rams, everyone, and welcome to My Sai I, where we speak to devotees across Region 4 about their experiences with our beloved Bhagawan. Today, with us, we have Pratibhaben Niravane. She's a mother of 3 children and has 4 grandchildren. She has been a child devotee of Swami who attended Balvikas in Kampala, Africa. She has received abundance of love from Swami, where she has been blessed with 9 interviews, and her daughter was also blessed with a one-to-one with Baba. She has taken groups from Leicester to see Baba, where Bhagwan has accommodated them. She was also one of the founders when the centre opened with Mr. Naveen Bhai Patel, who is Swami's ex-student. She has been an active member of the centre and has held many posts like Centre Spirituals Coordinator, Bhajan Coordinator, Balvikas teacher and committee member. Presently, she is a clinic coordinator for pain management at NHS Leicester. Her life is Swami and his love, and she follows his teachings and guidance through life. So without further ado, welcome Auntie to My Sai I. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Sai Ram, my koti pranam to Bhagawan and all the elders, respected elders, brothers, sisters. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram. Auntie, you've known Bhagwan since you were in Africa, and so tell me about your first meeting. How did you get to know him? How did you get to his fold and get introduced to him?
Bhagawan actually came to me. In Africa, we used to in Africa people lived in flats, like in a building. Everybody had their flat. And I used to have a neighbor, a lady called Mrs. Mehta. And she was like our neighbor, and I was a young child at the time. And she said one day to my mom, she said, can I take your daughter to bhajans on a Thursdays? I just need somebody to accompany me, and I'll hold her hand and I'll take her. So she took me to Sai bhajans. First time I went on a Thursday, it was a home bhajans, and they had a picture of Swami. And the bhajans were really beautiful. And I used to look forward to those Thursdays. And I used to go to bhajans with her and used to come home and sing the bhajans. After that, my father lost his job. And my father was a very staunch Shiri Baba devotee. In them days, people had hardly heard about Satya Sai Baba. And our GP, our doctor, was Dr. C.G. Patel. He's the doctor who invited Swami to Africa. So my father went to visit him at the surgery, and the doctor said, in Africa there was like, if you were looking for a job, it was always by word of mouth. People knew people, and so my dad happened to tell Dr. C.G. Patel that he's looking for a job, because my dad was an accountant. So Dr. C.G. Patel said, okay, Mr. Joshi, I have a job for you. I've got Sai Baba coming from India, and I'm looking for volunteers, and I want you and your wife to join the volunteers. And he's Satya Sai Baba, and he's the avatar of Shiri Baba. And it was very hard for my dad to digest that he was a Shiri Baba. He was Shiri Baba. Yeah. Anyhow, he said, okay, it's still a spiritual person, a guru, a saint who is coming. Let me utilize my time, because my dad was a God person 24/7. And he agreed, and when Swami came, him and my mother, they became volunteers. And Swami came for 15 days in East Africa at Dr. C.G. Patel's house. My mom and my dad were going to this, Dr. C.G. Patel's house was all, modernization was done, like big marquees were tied outside the bungalow of where people could come for darshan. It was actually done on the road and on the street. Everything was blocked out, and big marquees were set up, and all the volunteers were dressed up in white. So all the instructions were given by doctor, how the volunteers' code of conduct was, how to be strict, how to be gentle, how to be with love to do seva. So it was so excitement, and we were fortunate because Dr. C.G.'s brother-in-law was my headmaster. And I was excited because first time when I saw Swami, I I knew that this is more than just ordinary guru, you see. So my mom and dad, they were volunteering, and my, sorry about that, and my, yeah, so I used to get lift from school to where the Swami was residing. So we as Sevada's children, everybody knew who we were, whose children were there. So like all the volunteers would let us go in and out of the bungalow, like where Swami was. So Swami would wander inside the bungalow, and Swami had a beautiful little altar made for Swami. There was a jhula, there was swing for Swami, where Swami used to sit, and then there was like devotees would sit, and he would have group interviews. He had a one-to-one interviews. Beautiful energy was there, and we used to go in and out like it was just open. We was in so close proximity of Swami, and Bhagawan used to walk and talk to people, and so many times like he'd call me, because I would just put my hand behind and just watch him, and I think, oh God, I can't take my eyes off him. I was just mesmerized, and he used to pat on my head, and he'd call me, give me vibhuti, and he just used to keep me happy. And I, in the night, wouldn't go to sleep because I was excited. I was excited not to go to school, but I had to go to school. And then from school, we used to come to so 15 days, Mom did seva, and we saw so many people. Like, there was crowds of, in Africa, there's Africans also came. All people who used to come from nearby cities and towns. So it was like thousands of people on the road, and Swami would do darshan there. And bhajans were going on, and it was just so special to see Bhagawan and Baba's energy. And Baba was so young, so Baba used to walk so fast, and everything he was to do like quick, everything. One my father saw there was a lady sitting with a blind girl in the darshan line, and the girl was in his, and she had disability as well, and she was blind, and Swami went up to her, and he put vibhuti on her forehead, and Swami also sprinkled vibhuti on her eyes, and the girl actually opened the eyes in front of Swami while he was there. And this is something my father saw while he was doing the seva, and he told us that. But my father, when he went and did the seva on the first day, he came home and he cried, he wailed like a baby. He said, how can I have doubted? This was Swami. Swami and Shri Baba is one. He was guaranteed. My father was on a cloud 9. My father was like, his tears were just falling out to see God, like, Baba. And it was amazing time, 15 days. My mother also went to Kenya, because out of that 15 days, Swami traveled to Kenya for 2 days, Nairobi. So my mom went with the volunteers. Volunteers also went with Swami. And then on the last day, Swami invited the volunteers. Swami took pictures with the volunteers. So gents were called, and the picture was taken. And then it was the ladies' turn, and I was like always wondering there. So Swami looks at me, and he does this gesture to me. And then Swami says, come. So I looked at him, and he said, yeah, come. So Swami took me in the picture. He put his hands on my shoulder. I was a little girl with 2 pony pigtails. He put his hand on my shoulder. Aww. So somebody has that photo. I don't have it, but then all the ladies started sitting. More volunteer ladies came, and I got sort of moved a little bit further up, and all ladies sat near his feet. My mother was there in the picture. Some of her friends were in the picture. And I have a picture that I have got one picture that is in that group where Swami had called me for the picture. And his love was just amazing. So sweet and softly Baba used to talk. And then Swami went back, and I started singing bhajans. As soon as Swami went, Dr. C.G. Patel's house, we used to have bhajans once a week. And I was the first child. I joined the Bal Vikas as well. We all joined the Bal Vikas, my brothers, sisters, and all of us, we joined Bal Vikas. And I used to love bhajans. Wherever there was bhajan, I was glued. So I started singing bhajans. And Dr. C.G. Patel's wife, Madhumasi, she had gone to Prashanti, and she came back. And when we were doing bhajan practice, she gave this message. She said, Swami said that girl is singing beautiful. Tell her to sing for me. Ever since Swami sent me that message, my joy, even, it went like, I just was so happy that I knew Swami was listening to me.
Amazing.
And then after that, my life was like everywhere there was bhajans, I used to go as a lady singer. I was a Balvika's child though, and used to sing bhajans. So Wednesday we used to have ladies bhajan. Thursday used to have Wednesday was a ladies bhajan. Saturday was like the main bhajan, and there was Thursday we used to do home bhajans. So all three times in a week we used to attend bhajans. So that was it, and then we became Baba devotees, and lo and behold, Swami said, I came to Africa to save my devotees. And we went through the turmoil time when Idi Amin had, Idi Amin scenario where he chucked all the Asians out, yeah. And Swami said he came to save his devotees. This is the only reason he traveled out of India. One reason he came to save. And I think Madhumasi, the lady who invited Swami to Africa, she is a proper high soul devotee of Swami, and it was her invitation that brought Swami to Africa, and it was so beautiful for us. And Swami saved all of us. We came to England, and we just used to do home bhajans on a Thursday. And Naveen Bhai Patel, who we know is a Swami's ex-student, Naveen Bhai Patel, Kiran Bhai Patel, they were with me in Africa, so I know them from back home, from in my times. We grew up together. Naveen Bhai was picked up by Swami. He took him to India with him to study, and we carried on with the center. And he came to our house, and when he came back from India, Swami sent him and said, go and look after the UK organizations, Sai organizations. So Naveen Bhai came to Leicester, and he knew my dad, he knew me, and he knew we used to sing bhajans, me, my sister. And he said, Joshi, we have to open a Sai Centre in Leicester. And when we were there, founder members, like we opened the Sai Centre, room number 4 at Belgrave Neighborhood Centre. This is where this Sai Centre started. Then the Balvika started, and then Sevadar started. And then it grew and grew and grew, and we moved so many different venues we changed as the centre was, people knew bhajans are happening here. All the old Sai devotees from wherever in the world started coming to the centre. And my first, and when Naveen Bhai came, we asked him, we said to Naveen Bhai, we want to go and see Swami, because he always used to talk about Swami, his stories of how life was with Swami. He is so fortunate soul that he actually used to sleep in the same room as Bhagawan in India. And can you imagine the type of stories Naveen Bhai used to tell us? So we were always on this high, listening to Swami's stories. Yeah, he used to actually sleep in the same room as Swami. Imagine. And then we told Naveen Bhai, we said, my father, and we said, we want to go and see Swami. Is the best way of doing this? And Naveen Bhai said, go in a group. So that's the first time we formed a group. We formed a group of 22 people. And Naveen Bhai wrote letters to Prashantis. He knew people there because he lived there. So he told us, he arranged accommodation for us, and all the facilities were done. Swami was informed that we were going to come. And yes, we decided to travel as a group. But then I had a hitch, me and my sister. We didn't have our British passports ready. And so because our names were in our mother's British passports, so we had to take the names out and have our independent passports done, separate passports. And every day we were going to Home Office to say, can you make us passport ready? We did application and everything. So they used to make us up and down Croydon, British Consulate, every day, Monday to Thursday, up, down, you need this proof, you need this document, you need this. Every day we were going. On a Thursday, they shut the window on us. And they said to us, don't come tomorrow. No point, because we're not giving you the passports. They are not ready, and you're not going to get it. You Indians, you take the British passport and you go to India to get married. So she said, your passports are not ready. She was very rude. But we came home. I was very upset with Swami. We used to do Thursday bhajan at home. So I turned the photo of Swami and turned it around, and I said, I don't want to look at you, Swami. I am very angry, and you said you're omnipresent. And how can you do this? We are in this group. I know my father was a heart patient, me and my sister, and I cried and I said, I'm not happy with you, Swami. And all our friends came and their packing was done, and they were saying, oh, so sad, you're not coming, your passports are not ready. And I said, it's Swami's will, because Baba said nobody comes here without my will. And I said, okay, there's something lacking. We need to do some sadhana or something. I went to work on Friday. Yeah. And it was about 11 o'clock. And I said to my father, I rang my father and I said, hi, Papa, you okay? And I said, have you done your packing? Because you're flying on Saturday. Tomorrow you're flying. So my father says to me, says, forget all that. He said, come home now. I said, why? He says, your passports are ready. I said, what? What are you saying? He said, yes, the Peterborough British Consulate rang and they said your passports are ready. But they were travel documents, look like passports, so we could travel with that, me and my sister. Before that, on a Thursday, my father rang the travel agent and told him to cancel the ticket so somebody else can use it. So on a Friday, when our passports were done, my father rings the travel agent and he says, I told you to cancel those tickets yesterday. Is there any chance of still getting it on the same flight, and these two people need to be on the group? And the gentleman, Naveen, his name is also Naveen Bhai Patel. He does travels. Yeah, his name was Naveen Bhai. He does the book sales in our organization in London. So he said, oh, Mr. Joshi, these tickets I was trying 2-3 times to take and shred it after your phone call. But I haven't been able to touch them, and nobody's filled the spaces. The places are still there. He said, don't worry. He said, you come to the airport. I personally will come and give these tickets to you. So he came personally at the airport to give us the tickets. Okay? Lo and behold, we go on the plane. We land in Bombay. Another big bomb. The guy says to my father, he says, he looked at immigration officer, he looked at everybody's paperwork, then he looks at mine and my sister's, and he says, this passport hasn't got a visa. He says, these are travel documents. It needs Indian visa. These girls can't be on this land. They have to go back on the same plane they came back. And I went like, what now, Swami? And my father also started saying, he says, my papa says, have faith in Swami, have faith in Swami. A police officer came, a commissioner police, with all his badges and his uniform and all his full attire, and he goes to the immigration officers. Pandu, what is the problem? Like we are Marathi, and he started speaking Marathi with him. So what is the problem? What are you doing? So he said these girls have got a travel document, but they don't have visa to enter India. So he said, so they can't land here. Then the police officer gently comes, the police commissioner, he comes and stands near my dad, and he asked my dad, because my dad was talking in Marathi, and he says, where are you going? And my papa says, we are going to visit Sai Baba. All of you? Yes, my papa said, we are coming in a group. Okay, which Sai Baba you're going to see? Shiri Baba? Or my papa says, no, we are going to see Satya Sai Baba in a Puttaparthi. Oh, you're going to see Sai Baba in Puttaparthi? And then he says to my papa, all of you, for how long? 1 month. 1 month to see Baba? Like he was really amazed to see somebody traveling for 4 weeks to see Swami. And he was so excited, the police commissioner. He says to my father, he says, don't worry. He went to the customs officer and he said, Pandu, put the stamp on there. They're going to Baba and then they're going home. Put the stamp on there. Then he turned around to my father and he says to my papa, he takes out he had some raksha given to him by Swami. He had like a badge in his pocket. Oh. Yeah, he took it out and he said, this is my raksha. When Swami comes to Bombay, I am the chief security for Swami. And this Baba has given me this. And he says to my father, he said, go have a nice time. And we passed the customs. Aww. Passed the customs, stopped the night in Bombay, took the flight to Bangalore. And we arrive in Bangalore at the airport. Somebody whispers in our ears, don't waste time here. Sai Baba is giving darshan in Whitefield. We have nothing prepared transport-wise. So we take the taxi, all 22 people with our luggage, There were babies in our group. There were senior citizens in our group. There were all ages. So young youth were there, and like all types, all ages were present in the group. So we all had a luggage, and we went to Whitefield where Swami was giving darshan, and we reached there, and we picked up our luggage. We were so excited to say we're going to see Swami. And that day, apparently, Swami hadn't come out for darshan yet. He was waiting. So everybody was saying, Baba's not come out yet. So we went and put our luggage in the corner where the gate is. And there's a little clock room, sort of office area. And we put our luggage in that clock room. We all quickly ran, sat down for darshan. Swami came, looked at all of us, gave a beautiful darshan under the tree. Remember, Swami used to sit in Vrindavan, Swami used to sit under a tree. And surrounded by the tree was all the devotees sitting. And Swami gave us beautiful darshan. And seeing Swami after a long, long time, our tears we just couldn't stop. We just couldn't stop. Then in the evening, everybody had gone. We were sitting in the corner there with the luggage. We hadn't booked a transport. Nothing was done. And then we heard Swami was coming out again to go to give lecture to the students in one of the buildings. So Swami was going to go, so the volunteer said, Swami is coming. So again we went and stood outside that building in a queue, and we saw Swami going in, and we waited till we could hear Swami talking inside. And then when Swami came out, he looked at all of us, and Baba said, Samadhanam, Samadhanam, go home now. So I started crying. I said, we've just come home. How can he say, we've just come here? How can he say, just go home? It's not easy. But we started crying, and we sat in the corner, and it started raining, heavy rain. And the volunteer who was there, he was saying to us, shh, go now, go now. We said, phones were out of order. We wanted to phone for taxis. The phones outside, because of the rain and the storm, the phones weren't working. So we were literally stuck in that corner. And this is what happens. We're stuck in there, and this volunteer is having a go at us. And this other student comes in a white uniform, running from Swami's accommodation. He comes running, and he calls that volunteer who was talking to us, who was having a go at us. He said, come, Swami's calling you inside. So he went inside. We still stood. We didn't know what was going on. And then that volunteer came, and with the volunteer who was there, and the student came together. And Swami had actually given his own transportation. Be van moklaiva Bhagawan. He sent 2 vans. And Swami said to the volunteer, he told him off. He said, how dare you talk to my devotees? Do you know how far they have traveled from? Do you know how many of them are? Have you seen their ages? Pick up their luggage. Put it in the van. And then Baba left a message for us. The drivers came, they took us. Swami told us which hotel to go in. And Swami said, early in the morning, darshan time, 9 o'clock, be here. And Baba said, I've taken care of all your accommodation. Make all the preparation for you people. You will be looked after when you come to Puttaparthi. But in the morning, you must come for darshan. And then the volunteer who was being real mouthy with us, Swami told him off. So he apologized to us. And then he picked up our luggage and he had to put it on the van. And then we went to the hotel. We had a good sleep. We were so happy. We had a good sleep. We woke up early. Again, we had booked taxi from the hotel. And they brought the taxi on time. Now, as you know, when you go into Whitefield, there is a train track. So if the train is going to pass, before that, the track, they will put the barriers down. So when we saw the barriers going down, and Swami had given us time, so all of us got out of we told the taxi man to stop. And all the people who were with us in the group, all ages, we ran from that, where the taxi was parked, till we reached the gate of Whitefield. All of us ran like we ran a race, yeah. And we reached there. We reached at the gate. Swami one foot was in the car, one foot was outside. And Swami was waiting for us. The door was open. Swami looked at us. He did Abhay Hasta. He smiled. And he sat in the taxi and he went for Puttaparthi. We ran back to the taxi and we said to the taxi, to Puttaparthi. So we traveled to Puttaparthi. Swami had arrived before us, and then we arrived. As soon as we arrived, our accommodation was all ready. And as soon as our keys were given to us, the accommodation office told us, don't waste time, quickly put your luggage and go. So darshan time, Swami is going to come out and give darshan. So we went and put all our luggage in there, had a quick wash. All our white saris and everything was on from morning. So we were all in a dress and we were so excited. We quickly went and sat in darshan line. We got the first line. We sat. Swami came out and Swami said, where are you from? London? England? And Swami said, we said yes. Swami said, go, go. So he gestured us to go. And then gents side, same thing. The whole group was called in for first interview. And we were called in for interview in a group. Swami came in, we all sat. Before sitting down, Swami closed the door and looked at everybody's face. Swami came to me and Swami said to me, where is your passport? He says to me. I said, me and my sister looked at each other and my father. And I gave him my passport. Like, I'm the one who's given you this passport, sort of, And then he looked at my passport and he said, yeah. And then he says, next year, another photo here, he said. And then he gave me my passport back. And then he went up to my father and he said to my father, you're a heart patient. He opened the buttons of my father's shirt. He materialized oil and he massaged his heart. Then he told him how to take care of himself. And he said to my father, he said, he said to my father, he said, you must do sadhana, Gayatri sadhana, like the jap. And he told him to do meditation morning and evening. And he told my father about the diet. He said, you're a heart patient, you must not eat after 6:37. You must eat before that. So my father took Swami's all the advice and that's what he did. My father did all what sadhana Swami had told him to do. He followed that. Then after everybody's got their personal experiences in the group. Swami was talking to everybody in the group. And then Swami invited us again. Swami said, I will take good care of you. You are going to have good time. Then he gave us a chance to sing in the bhajan hall. We got to sing in the bhajan hall. Swami was sitting on the chair in the mandir, inside the mandir. We sang bhajans to Swami. Then there was one evening, Swami had decided to give a film show. So when everybody had dispersed from darshan, Swami sent a message to our group to say, come in the mandir. So in the mandir, where the main mandir where Swami sits, so Swami was sitting on his throne and Swami invited us and Swami arranged for a film show. So Baba put a film on where in the back, where the Krishna, have you been inside the mandir where the Krishna's those 4 horses, the chariot, and that's where the screen was put. And and Swami had so Swami had put the screen on and put a film on, and Swami was showing us his whole life story from the time he was born, the village and everything. We were looking at the screen, but we were looking more at Swami. And Swami said, shh, aage dekho, aage dekho. But when God is sitting at the back, what is the point of looking at the film? We were so overjoyed. He was giving so much love. Like darshan, he would give. One Monday, he came and gave me, he comes out on a Monday morning. He comes out, we are sitting in the darshan line. He comes straight to me and he said, Bangaru Pad Namaskar. And I touched Swami's feet and I kissed Swami's feet. My friend was sitting next to me. Her name was Sarlaben. She and my sister were there, and they also saw Swami coming directly. And then everything finished, and we went out to have a breakfast. So I didn't know what Bangaru meant. So I said, this one Sevadals, it was invite this gentleman. And he said, oh, Didi, you are so lucky. Swami came to you, gave you Pad Namaskar. What did Swami say to you? I said, Swami said, take Pad Namaskar, Bangaru. So I said, I don't know what is the meaning of Bangaru. You don't know what Bangaru is? And I said, no. Swami says, Bangaru means you are my gold. So I am Swami's goal, basically. And I said, oh, Swami, I'm so blessed. I said, oh, thank you, Swami. It was so nice. And my friend, my sister and my friend Sarlaben, we are priests and she is priest also. But when she used to sit in darshan, she'd have all sorts of religious things she was reading. And then she says to me, Patli, tu so kare che? Why did Swami come to you? What prayers did you do? I said, I just was pining to have, his Pad Namaskar. I was just wanting Swami to come out and give us darshan. And it was lovely time. And she was lucky because she had just gone a month before and she came without the darshan or anything, and she was upset. And I took her back with me after another month, and she was happy because this time she got to meet Swami. And her and my father actually had more than 2 interviews. They had 3-4 interviews, both of them, her and my dad. We had about 2-3 actually, but in between, like Swami, on that trip, Swami spent the whole Janmashtami day with us. He told us he was going to call us tomorrow, and we said, it's a Janmashtami, it's a big festival going on. So we were again always dressing up in white as our attire. Early morning, we went outside the gate, got some flowers for Swami. And Swami said, go in, London, go in. And on Janmashtami day, the bhajans are going on, and Swami is sitting in the interview room with us, talking with us. I always sit at Swami's feet, so I touch his feet, and I offered him the garland. And Swami said, he took the flowers, he did this to me. He said, go put it on your head, he said to me. He gave the flowers back to me. And he spent all the time with us. Now, in that first group, the second interview, no, not the Janmashtami, the third interview, I took, we asked Naveen Bhai, what can we take for Swami as gift? He said Swami really doesn't want anything, he doesn't take gift. But if you take it, Swami gives it to students. So we took like almonds, coffee, we took few things that, and I said, I want to take slippers for Swami. So Naveen Bhai said to me, what size slippers? So I went and looked for these slippers. And I see those slippers sometimes when I see a picture of Swami and he's walking with a red and white umbrella and he's got those red slippers on his feet. They're the slippers I have given him. So I was in, and then this interview, everybody was called in one-to-one in another inside room. So you have a group room, and then Swami calls each person inside interview room. And everybody was called. Yeah, and we were all saying, Swami will come out, look at somebody and say, you go in. And I had the slippers on, and then Swami made a gesture at the door, and he says, put those slippers on your head. And I went like this. I think, oh my God, he's not going to accept my slippers. He's making fun of me. And because we were the leaders, so I was the last person to go in with another lady. And we went inside. Swami was standing near, inside, he's got a chair. And he was standing there. And then he spoke to this one girl who was there. And then Swami turned around and came to talk to me. The first thing he said to me, you fight with me, don't you? You मेरे साथ बहुत झगड़ा करती है. Sai Ma, very happy when angry. So, that photo I turned that Thursday when I was angry, when I didn't get my passport.
Yeah.
He knew about it, so he sort of acknowledged that, that you did this to me. But he said, Sai Ma happy, Sai Ma happy. And then some things were personal, so he talked with me. And then he said to me, then he said, I had the slippers in my hand. And then he said, Bangaru, put it on my feet. And Harshini, I put the slippers on the floor. And Swami must have raised himself because I could feel the slippers sliding. And I touched his feet and I kissed his feet. And Swami tapped on my head and he kept on tapping and he says, Ma happy, Sai Ma happy, Sai Ma happy. And then I was about to leave the room and Swami was standing and he was still talking. And I said, Baba, when are you coming to England? Swami said, I'm coming next year. So I thought, oh, Swami is telling me something nobody knows. He's coming next year to England. Oh my God, this is me excited. Yeah. So I said to Swami, when are you coming? Tell me, I'll book your ticket. I'll do your passport. And he said, I'm coming, he said to me. Then Swami, at one point, he looked in my eye. he looked in my eyes, and he looked in my eyes, Harshini, so deep, and at that point, when Swami looked in my eye, I felt like something churn in my stomach, like, that scene, have you seen the scene with Yashoda Ma asking Krishna to open the mouth, and she sees the whole universe?
Yeah.
I experienced
Wow.
that with Swami, and that eye contact which I had with Swami, I don't think anybody, Swami must have gone in my many lives in that eye contact. That was an amazing, amazing experience. And I felt like I was not this body, but I just felt I was a soul at that point.
Yeah.
It was so powerful.
Yeah.
It was so powerful. And then Swami blessed us, and everybody had the interview. Everybody was happy. Janmashtami time. Aarti started happening outside. So we came out. Swami said, go now. So we came out of the door. And then the Aarti, we are singing Aarti. We stood outside. We didn't go very far away from the... And then Swami is watching us from the window. And we're singing the Aarti. So our Aarti was not in the sync with the Mandir devotees singing. So little bit. And then Swami was laughing at us because we were so excited and singing this Aarti. After that, whole month Swami looked after us so much. There was one gentleman in our group. His name was Amrit Mistry, and he did a sadhana with us, our group, a month before on his own at home. On a Thursday, he would sit on his own and sing bhajans for 1 hour. Swami went up to him and asked him, "What do you want?" Swami doesn't let anything go amiss. When you do any sadhana, anything you do, Swami is aware of all our thoughts, our deeds. If we say we are Sai devotees, we have to always consciously take in mind that Baba knows everything. And that Amrit used to sing on Thursdays. So one of the interviews he missed, and he was sick in bed. And Swami asked the group, he says, "Where is Amrit?" So Swami, we told him, "Swami, he's sick. His tummy's upset and he's got the runs." And Swami said, "See, I told him not to eat outside." And Amrit only used to go eat outside. He didn't like the food inside. So Swami sent Vibhuti. Swami sent Vibhuti for him, so we gave it to him. And then, but when he was in the interview, and Swami said to him, "What do you want?" And he said, "Swami, I want you." Swami gave him a massive hug and held him. Harshini, that was such a beautiful sight. He is so blessed, that Amrit, I tell you. And there were few people in our groups who got attention like that. But Swami gave love to all of us. All of us. And there was some, then I think, then from our group, few people decided they wanted to leave to go to GAM. So Swami made a comment in our interview. He said, "यहाँ स्वामी के लिए कौन आता है? इंडिया आते हैं स्वामी 2 दिन स्वामी के पास, फिर बोलते हैं गाँव जाना है, गाँव जाना है." So really, so there was few families who wanted to go GAM because you travel from England. They had families. Swami understood, but Swami made a comment. So we were there for a whole month, and the love and energy he gave all of us in abundance. Everything he made sure we were okay. We had accommodation all right. We to get good darshan line. That was in 1978. I took 22 people. 28, yeah, 22 people. We came back home and we thanked Naveen Bhai for guiding us and helping us.
Yeah.
So fortunate. So that was in 1978. After that, I've taken groups about 3 times.
Wow.
But I used to go as a group, as darshan. But every time we went as a group, Swami always called me in for interview. Swami always called my boys for interview with me. This is in 93 when we went with the Leicester Balvikas group.
Yeah.
The Balvikas teachers had organized a drama and everything to take it to Swami with the Balvikas children. And I was excited. I wanted my children to have Swami's blessings and to know Swami, and they have to basically be close to God. So I wanted to send my children. So we put our names down that they can take our children to India. But then the instructions came from Prashanti saying no Balika's child should travel without their parent. So it was opened up for the parents to join the group. And I got to join the group. And I was excited again. And all of us, like all the parents got excited. And I took my niece, Deepa Joshi, Krupa Joshi, and I took my boys, and I took Nishit Patel and Praksha Patel, Naveen Bhai's son and his niece. So I took 6 children. I could take somebody as a guardian. That was allowed. Yeah. And we went there. Again, everything was very organized. The gurus did a very, very fantastic job. Trained all the Balvikas children. They had all their costumes and everything ready and done. We arrived in Bangalore. Swami was in Bangalore. And darshan, we were there. Swami was coming, going, looking at us. We all had different, like parents had a maroon scarf. The Balvikas children had an orange scarf, and some had a maroon scarf. I don't know, they were done in groups. Some youth who were in our group, they had a yellow scarf. So we color coded the groups, like, even though we were one group, a parents group, and like it was decided, like, yeah. And one day, and the boys always Swami used to always go to the boys' side, and boys used to write a letter and say, give it to Swami. And Swami used to look at them, smile at them. Where are you from? How many? Like, the all normal questions Baba used to ask. And these guys used to do, what shall we do to get Swami's attention? And Swami called them, okay, go get your group, right? So the first interview, the group interviewed the whole group, outer whole group, the Balika's teachers and the Balika's children went in interview room with Swami. And I don't know what happened in the interview room, but both my sons were there in the group. And my younger son, he's 9 years old, his name's Satya. Swami took him and set him on his lap and asked him, what do you want? Swami said, what do you want? And Satya was so mesmerized by Swami. He said, Swami, I only want you. And Swami materialized a chain. Swami materialized 2 chains. One he put it on Sat, and another one, our Pushpaben Parmar, who is our one of the very active Sai ladies, Vikesh, her son, the other one to him, and Sanjay Patel, who is Kusumben's son. Swami materialized a ring for him. So Swami blessed the group, and they told them that, Swami, we got a play. And Baba said, okay, I will let you do the play. And then Swami made a few arrangements. They had a few meetings with Swami. And then Swami said, I will guide you. So the first interview, as soon as it finished, all the parents were sitting outside near the tree where Swami used to give darshan. We were waiting for them to come out of the group interview and tell us what's happened. Oh my God, my son had a race. He ran a race from Swami's room, and he came and sat on my lap. And he said, Mom, you know what? I said, what? Baba is really God. Baba is Bhagawan. Look what Baba has given me. Baba put me on his lap, and Baba said, what do you want? I said, what did you say? I said, Swami, I only want you. I said, you were given the right answer. Oh my God, the excitement and the joy. And even in that group, in 93 trip group, Swami gave so much love to all of us. It was amazing. And the children weren't eating food, so the Italian group had arrived. And they started making the Italian food. And then my son it was just bones. He wasn't eating anything. But as soon as the Italian group came, they were making the pastas, they were making the pizzas, they were making all the food that they love. He says, Baba is really... When he ate the pizza, he says, Baba's really God. He knows what I like. He says he must have eaten so much pizza that night. And then they got to perform, and the group got to perform on the Janmashtami day. So that was my second Janmashtami with Swami. Yeah. And the children performed the group in the Janmashtami day. And that night we went back in our room, and it was night time. And Swami sent a cake for us in the room. The cake that Italians had made for Swami on Janmashtami. So the Swami sent the offering to us, and we had cake. And lot of beautiful things happened on that journey. I have a friend, one of my friend parents who was with us, Jaishi Ben Vyas. Me and her, we used to sit in darshan together. And in that group, like bhajans were going on, and then Swami came out from the side. And I again had taken some slippers and to give it to Swami. I said, those were many years ago. So I gave him the slippers, and he took it, and he gave it back to me. And then he said to me, you keep. He blessed me like this. And then my friend Jayashri Ben, who's sitting next to me, her son was traveling with us, and her son's got some health issues, well, he's not like a normal child. Like, he would play up and trouble other children in the group, and it was very difficult to control him. But we took him because we wanted Swami to help him or bless him. And me and Jai Ben sitting in darshan, and Swami came to us. Swami came to me, and I gave the slippers back to me. And then Jai Ben asked Swami a question, and she said, Swami Sachin, the boy's name is Sachin, Swami Sachin. And then Swami replied to me, talking to me. Swami is answering her. Swami saying to me that child has got neurological problem, and that is what you need to address. And then Swami walked away, and Jai Ben and me touched Swami's feet, and then I told Jai Ben. Then she did the right thing when she came back here. They knew that there were some issues that needed looking, but Swami said what it was. So it was a very, and all the people who were in the group worked so hard. Like, the mothers were making the clothes for the drama, for the costumes for the drama, for the Janmashtami, and the theme was the devotion to Krishna. So there was a Mirabai play in there. There's Manisha Lal, she played the role of Radha, and then there was Mirabai, a guy called Yatin. They dressed him up as a Mirabai, and Swami took a lot of group pictures with the boys and the group, the children. So yeah, amazing. If I find those pictures, I will send them to you, forward them to you. Yeah, and they had a lovely. And when Swami was watching the play, we were sitting in the front. Swami was on the side here, and Swami is watching the play. So every time somebody came, Swami would laugh at them, make jokes at them. Then Nishit would come like a big Krishna when he was doing. Swami said big Krishna, and then Satya was the little Krishna. So when he was doing his Leela, he would go and hide behind the big Krishna, and Swami said little Krishna. And Swami was like giving them so much love. Even after that, Swami would pinch his his cheeks and his ears, and all of them. Then one day in that night, we got to do the Aarti to Swami. So Nishit was on one side, Aarti, and Satya was holding the Aarti, Nishit. And Satya grabbed me and said, Mom, you come here. So I put my hand on Satya like this, and we got to do the Aarti to Swami as on the Janmashtami day. And in that, and then we had like interview with Swami in a group. And you know how I used to always be bhajan. Then Swami spoke to me. In a group, he spoke to me. I was looking at him, and Swami held my hand. And Swami said to me, I am always with you. I am in you. I am around you. Then Swami looked in my eyes, and he said to me, your devotion is like Mirabai. And I was like, I was just looking at Swami, my tears. And then Swami said to me, take Pad Namaskar. So the whole group is surrounding Swami, and in that Swami said, take Pad Namaskar. I had to actually duck down, find Swami's feet, take Pad Namaskar, and Swami gave me beautiful Pad Namaskar. And then for the children, Swami signed the autographs, signed the photos, and that was such a beautiful time.
What a privilege to be compared to Mirabai. We all know how Mirabai's devotion was to Lord Krishna, and
I felt on cloud 9, and I don't tell anybody, but sometimes when people ask me, And when I reminisce on things that the Swami has told me and Swami has said to me, I just know that we are all part and parcel of Swami's mission. We are all come with him, and we have to be the change this world needs. We if we practice his message, just his message, practice rather than say it. The world, to change the world, we have to change ourselves. Such a beautiful time we had. That 93 trip was amazing, amazing. Both my boys had come with me here. All the children, they are blessed. They are blessed. Our Leicester Sai Centre is blessed amazingly, because all the devotees from there, in time, all of them were going to Prashanti and back, darshan time, everybody. Swami, because of our group, Swami knew what Leicester was, and Swami says center of universe, and like he knows, hey, you're from Leicester, Swami, we are from Leicester. So that was in 1993.
Was that your final interview then, or did you
No,
have more after?
no, I had lots before. I had after that. I had after 93. I went in 95. Again, we went in 95 as a group, yeah. And it got split into two groups. But again, when we all were there together, we got called in for interview, in a group interview. And then Swami said, how many people? And we said 60. Swami said, 60 people? Room small, Swami said. His interview room small. But Swami, big heart, you know. And in that group interview, Swami took a chair out for my mother. And he himself didn't let anybody, everybody said, Swami, give us, we'll take it from you. Swami took the chair. Swami said, no help. Swami took it. He took it in the corner. He put it on the floor. He unfolded the chair. He put my mother on the chair, and he patted her back. And that was also a group interview. That was in 1995. And 95.
Incredible.
My video, yeah, sorry. That was in 1995. And then 96 again, I went with a group. And again, we had a interview with Swami. 95, yeah. 95 in July, we had an interview with Swami. Again, a personal one-to-one we had with Swami. It was 1995. I was in the interview room with Bhagawan. I was always sit at his feet, and I always massage his feet, and I touch them, and I it's the best opportunity you get. He's your mother and father, he's your God, so it's amazing. And in this interview, it was personal, my personal life, like my marriage and everything was happening. And I was going to, we had a separation, me and my husband had separated, and I have gone in with my children, and I asked Swami first time, Swami, I want to divorce, because he's gone now. And Swami looked at me, and Swami said to me, no divorce. He said, one man, one wife. And then Swami said, passing clouds. This was in July, August and September. And September, my husband passed away with a massive heart attack. But Swami knew, in my interview, Swami knew that. And he assured me, he said, passing clouds. But again, I never tell Swami anything. I used to know that Baba is Antaryami. He knows everything. You don't need to tell him in one-to-one. But only that interview, first time it came out of my mouth, and I said, Swami, is it okay then to divorce him? And Swami said, no. One man, one wife. And then he said, passing clouds. And that was a group interview with Bhagawan. Even boys had the interview with Swami. And Swami, whenever the boys were in interview with Swami, Swami always said, mingle with the right company, good company. Don't associate with bad company. Bhagawan used to clearly say this to them. all the time. And that was in 1995. My husband passed away in 95. And then 96, I went to India again. And I took the boys with me. I didn't take my daughter with me. We went to do the ashes in India, in the holy place. So we did that, and we came to Prashanti to see Swami. Swami again called me for interview. And he talked with me. He said he's with me. He blessed my sons. So that was in 96. Yeah, that was my last interview with Swami. So, but every time I went, he'd always call me. Or even in darshan line, I used to sit, and if I ever got number one, I'd know that I'm gonna get something close from Swami. Either I get a Pada Namaskar, even a look or a smile, I'd be happy. And that was one of the signs that Swami used to do that for us. Yeah, and all my 3 children. Then I went in a group with Ajit Bhai. I've been with Ajit Bhai myself. I've been with Ajit Bhai twice, and my daughter's been with Ajit Bhai 3 times. My daughter also, whenever I used to get interviewed, one time she was very little when I got the interview with Swami, and I was sitting at Swami's feet, and she was actually small, so she was near Swami's stool where her bum was half on Swami's stool and half on me. That close, we were cramped up in the interview room, and Swami, she was sitting there, and Swami had this book in his hand. So when her head was there, Swami took the book like this, so it doesn't touch her head. He took so much care, so like little gestures like that.
Yeah.
And he gave so much love.
Like a mother, yeah.
Yeah, like a mother, yeah. And one time Swami had. When she went with Ajit Bhai, she got chance to sing bhajan, and I was at work. That was one trip that I didn't go with her. And when Ajit Bhai used to take the groups, then Swami will select which group sings, and this time she had got her group got picked up, and she sang her Jai Kailashapade Shiva bhajan. And I was in the office. It was Thursday, and I got a text from her, and she wrote on the text. She says, "Mom, now I don't want anything in life. I've got everything. I'm so happy. I'm on cloud 9. I just sang to Swami in this big Kulwant hall," she says to me, 1-to-1 with Swami. Oh my God, my tears in the office and my niece Deepa Joshi, she also texted me and says, "Atya, we had such a lovely day today. Guess what? I've been sitting in the first line, and your daughter got to sing to Swami." I said, "Thank God." I was so happy that she felt that opportunity Swami gave her to sing. She couldn't believe that it happened. It was so beautiful, so beautiful.
Really blessed, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. In our first interview, when we had the first interview, Swami told us to follow the 9-point code of conduct, a must practice as a devotee. And then Swami said the number 1. And Swami told us, in that first interview, Swami told us how to do Om and how to do meditation. And Swami said, when you do Om, it's not O-M, Om. A-U-M. So Swami said, when you do the Om, it goes from here. The U goes up. And the M comes down. So, not the O-M, but you have to do Om. So Swami explained, it's like Concorde taking off the aeroplane, then going up in a height, and then coming down and landing. Yeah, so say you imagine you practice your Om like that. And Swami said, do meditation in the morning, 9-point code of conduct, and he gave so much love. He said, be good, Sai Ma, very happy. And when Swami says, I'm always with you, and he does prove that he's always with us.
Yeah, that's so true. I think you've had so many, close experiences, and, of course you miss his physical form, I'm sure, because, you've seen him since you were a child, and he's given you so much love since then. So how do you feel him in today's day when his physical presence isn't around? How do you connect with him?
It's really it's us. It's within us. Swami is in our heart. We are Swami.
Yeah.
This is the message Swami was teaching us all the time. We are Swami. So when you say how you connect is one to one. This is why we do the silent sitting. This is why we do the meditation. When you go inwards. If you do 5 minutes silent sitting in the morning, you do your 21 omkars, and then you try and do meditation. Slowly, make that appointment with Swami. Yeah. Think of him before when you wake up. Gratitude to Bhagawan for being alive, and always tell him to make you his instrument. And then the whole day you will feel God's presence. And you say to everything you do in the day, you offer it to him. Good or bad, offer it to him. And in the night, appreciate everything and thank him for having a good day. Even if it's a bad day, because that's still his will. Because he is the, he is the one who's controlling our life. Yeah, puppeteer. Yeah. He is a chariot and we are sitting on him.
Definitely.
So, yes, close connection. And if you can do satsang, whenever you meet good friends, you talk with him, you will feel his presence. You'll feel his presence.
Yeah.
You always feel his presence.
Yeah.
And youths, you have to, since childhood to now, only thing I can only say that what Swami has taught me love everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless, irrespective. Love everybody. And when you start loving everybody, you will feel that you're loving Swami in every person you're meeting. And then you yourself will feel good.
Yeah, that's really true. So I think, we have to just see God in everyone. Just follow his teachings. His teachings are quite simple and straightforward, and it's just about implementing that. What would you say would be your advice? Would that be your advice for the younger generations who are growing up as Sai devotees?
Yes, I would say to the younger generation is to be connected, be plugged into Swami. Plugged into Swami. So how do you get plugged into Swami? Sai Ram, Namasmaran. In Kali, Bhagawan Baba says Namasmaran. Do satsang, do Namasmaran. Easiest path to... I think the biggest miracle in this Kali Yuga, I personally, is my view, and I don't know, many others might think the same, but for me, to see Swami giving darshan day in, day out, Almighty God, the Father, the Universal Father, जे अपने परमात्मा के श्री Lord Shiva, walking in human form, walking amongst us every day to give us darshan. How lucky are we?
I know.
In Kali Yuga, through Namasmaran, only Namasmaran. And don't feel shy that you believe in God. People feel shy even to commit that, I believe in so. Don't be shy. If you believe in God, okay, fine. Young generation feel, I don't like to show him, I go bhajans. They have this all stereotype things in their mind. I don't like to, I don't sing. Don't want to show. But God is good. God is like your friend. Young generation they have to really, really get involved in Sai activities. Like Bal Vikas, and then the young adult programs they have, then into Seva.
Yes, sir.
Take active part, because if you do God's work, God does immensely for you. Everything in life He'll give you. Don't back off. Take time out for God. He is one of your family members. So you have time for mother and father. Have 5 minutes for God too.
Yeah.
you know,
Take time out.
take time out for Swami. Yeah.
It's really important. Sometimes we forget to, connect with God in our daily lives. And I think during quarantine, I think we were more connected because we've got all this time in our hands.
See, it's given people so many opportunities to read all those books, Sai books that are sitting in the shelves. On YouTube, you get Swami's darshans when you play bhajans. I do darshan every morning to Swami. I play my YouTube videos in the morning. In the evening, I look at Swami. Sometimes I feel I'm cooking. I got a video going on, YouTube video going on, Swami giving darshan, listening to bhajans. And you just feel connected. You have to be connected to Swami. And what I say is get plugged into Swami every day.
Get plugged in. I think that's something we'll all take away from today.
Yeah, anything. Baba said 9-point code of conduct. That's very important and a simple thing to follow. The meditation, prayers, Sai literature, going to the center, home bhajans once a week, sitting on desires, not talking ill of others, especially behind their back. All this 9-point of conduct. And Swami is there with you. Swami is there with you.
That's me,
Yeah.
Just follow the right path.
Yeah. Be humble, be kind, be loving, respect elders. All things that Swami has given us, so many gems,
Yeah. You've given us a lot of, taught us a lot. So, we have like a lifetime of learning, just one quote of his.
Yeah,
embrace
so powerful,
quote.
Love also.
Make that.
Yeah, help ever, hurt never.
Make that into a life motto.
Yeah.
That's really true, and I really enjoyed talking to you, Auntie. And I know maybe we're just scratching the surface with you in this, just hearing about the level of proximity you had, and the abundance of love that he showered on you. It's just so inspiring for all of us.
Swami then always used to if Baba wanted to give me any messages, I would always get dreams in the morning between 4 and 6, the Brahma Murta time. And there would be precise information Swami would be in my dream. And I'll be honest, I've not had Swami dream for a couple of years now. And last week was the week before, 2 weeks ago, the Shravan month started and it was Thursday and I did bhajans in the mandir. I do 1-to-1 bhajan with Swami and it uplifts me straight away. And that day I said to Swami, I am really bored, with this omnipresence, and I am missing your physical form, I said to Swami. I have not seen, I want to know, I want Swami you back in a human form. And I sort of said these things to Swami's picture. And that night, Swami was in my dream. Harshini, as straight as that, Swami was in my dream with my son Satya.
Wow.
It was such a beautiful dream. He proved to me. He's here.
He's just with you.
Yeah. You have to yearn for God.
Wow.
You have to be thirsty for Him. You have to be hungry for Him. And don't think He's just a picture or a statue. He's as alive as you and I. God has never been born. God never dies. He is permanent. He's always here. Can't see His physical form, but
a constant reminder, isn't it?
Yeah. Earth, wind, fire, air, ether. It's all Him. We are Sai.
Yeah, that's amazing. I just feel like I've been transported into Parthi in 93 and 95 and 78 by just talking to you and just reliving this with you, because obviously
I say to Swami, I'm not going to write it. I say to Swami, I'm not going to write anything. I want you to talk through me.
Good.
So whatever Swami wanted me to say,
It's the best way.
It's come out.
Definitely. I think that's the best way. I think when talking about him, you don't need to plan. I think you have all your experiences and, it just comes. It just comes. Auntie, thank you so much. And I hope everyone at home enjoyed this as much as I have. And hopefully we can speak to you again
Yes.
with some more experiences if you have any.
Sure, we will.
It's been so amazing. So thank you, Auntie, and Sai Ram, everyone.
So thank you to Swami and thank you to you for giving me the opportunity to offer you my experiences. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.